Liverpool Football Club make an official approach to Newcastle United to sign Alexander Isak. There is also an opportunity that they will hijack Hugo Ekitike to Newcastle as well. No formal offer has been made yet, but the deal is on, the deal is active, and this transfer window already alight has just engulfed everybody. This could be the biggest transfer in Premier League football history. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Get that bell notification hit as well. Let's do this. Massive breaking news this afternoon, which has got Liverpool fans everywhere buzzing, gushing, and over the moon. Newcastle supporters want to get your instant views on this, but Alexander Isak 100% could be leaving Newcastle United this summer. I've stood on this for the entirety of the transfer window. It's always been a belief. This deal has never been shut down. But we're going to delve into the stories because it's very important to go through them and to read them in their entirety as things stand right now. That's key and that is important. I'm just updating a few bits and pieces here. So let's go through some of these stories that have come out. We're going to take your views and your opinions on this. Ben Jacobs has just stated that Liverpool have made an approach to Newcastle United to sign Isak. No formal talks yet, but it's been communicated that Liverpool are preparing to pay more than what they did for Florian Wirtz. The fee is in the region of 120 million, a figure exclusively revealed last month by Ben Jacobs. It says Liverpool are yet to give up on Isak as reported in June. A formal bid could follow soon, though Newcastle still don't wish to sell. And it's that word again, don't wish to sell. He states here that Liverpool could also appreciate Hugo Ekitike as another option in case Isak is not possible. Now, Fabrizio Romano broke this news. It was an exclusive, and he said that Liverpool have made a club-to-club approach. This is the sobering factor for Newcastle United. If Isak won't be available, Liverpool can turn and enter the Hugo Ekitike race. The decision is up to Newcastle, as they never wanted to sell Isak. Plus, they could offer him a new deal. And this is what's so intriguing. Ornstein has now backed up this news as well, and we'll read his report in a minute. But this is what I felt all summer. We knew that this deal wasn't shut down because at no point, all we ever heard was Newcastle don't want to sell, they intend to keep, they won't entertain it. That may end up coming to fruition. But Liverpool haven't been put off. Liverpool haven't felt that this was impossible. Liverpool haven't felt as though this was an impossibility of happening. They've now made the official club-to-club approach, which tells you there's a large possibility that the player is interested in the move because clubs rarely contact each other unless a player has shown a sign or an appetite to leave. Now, what's also important here is Newcastle have got to make a massive decision. They're an attractive club. Ekitike is open to joining them. But if Liverpool get told no for Isak, it appears right now that they will pivot instantly to Hugo Ekitike. So then Newcastle are in a bit of a predicament. They're between a rock and a hard place. Do you sign the young, record-breaking, because it would be a record-breaking deal for Newcastle, new centre-forward that your fans have been thorning over for the past 24 hours, loving, excited by, infused by? Do you bring him in, but then let Isak go? Do you bring him in and then Liverpool make the charm offensive, make record-breaking bids, and pull your best striker since Alan Shearer away? Or do you say no to Liverpool and then lose Hugo Ekitike? Because essentially, what Liverpool are threatening, and it's a threat. It's, you know, a professional threat, but it's a corporate threat. If you don't let us have Isak, we're going to go after Hugo Ekitike. So Newcastle are basically in a position where if they get Ekitike, it's probably because they've got to let Isak go. Because if they don't let Isak go, Liverpool will hijack the move for Ekitike. Liverpool, they've kind of got Newcastle a little bit like this, haven't they? Again, when you operate correctly, when you negotiate hard, when you're a powerhouse in the transfer market over years and years of the right practices and the right processes, you don't yield under fan pressure. These types of deals are doable. This scenario that Liverpool have created is absolutely fantastic. Now, look, Liverpool have got an interest in Mateta. They've got an interest in Šeško. They've shown signs in these individuals. They have. I spoke to a very, very credible journalist behind the scenes today who's connected to Liverpool that said, look, those are real links. There's no doubt. But what Liverpool are doing to Newcastle here is it's rock and a hard place. Frying pan or the fire. What are they going to do? I want your views. I want your opinions on this now. But the one thing that is for sure is this deal genuinely looks like it could happen. This deal genuinely looks like it could go through in either direction. So Isak may stay, but Liverpool get Ekitike, or Newcastle get Ekitike and Liverpool get Isak. How do you guys see this one going? There's an update here from Luke Edwards, who is a Newcastle correspondent. He has just said, and I quote, breaking news, Newcastle remains steadfast in their message that Isak is not for sale this summer in light of an inquiry from Liverpool. View is that it's a deliberate ploy to try and unsettle the striker. As things stand, he is not agitating to leave, but we shall see. But we shall see. That's the bit for me. Listen, I don't want this to happen, but there is an element of glee within me because the lack of objectivity from football fans about this deal was fucking pissed me off all summer. I just had an hour-long debate, and you'll see me cook Staffy on Friday, who said that I backed Man United keeping Ten Hag because I said the words, I'm against it, but for the short term, I'm going to objectively back it. And we all know what that means. That means I'm going to support him because I want him to be a success. I'm going to go against my personal feelings, which is I think this will foul, and I'm going to be open to being wrong. I'm going to be open to new evidence, and I'm going to be open to the fact that my prediction this will foul could go wrong. All I'm doing is upfront admitting that I could be wrong. There has been a lack of that from a lot of football fans, not just Newcastle, but a lot of football fans this summer. If this deal would have been shut down, if Liverpool would have walked away, if the journalists were saying categorically this won't happen, I would have said the same. But that update there from Luke Edwards has been the message that I have seen basically all summer, which is Newcastle have no intention. Newcastle don't want to. Newcastle say that he is not for sale. These are not the messages of it won't happen. Not for sale, don't want it to happen, are not intending to sell. That doesn't mean it isn't going to happen. And right at the end there, we shall see. Again, I want to reiterate again, because I'll get called out for this by some amoeba. I'm not stating 100% this goes through. Oh, Terry, why are you being objective? Sorry. The voices in my head are talking to me. Don't be objective. Sorry. Yes. I'm going to be objective. Sorry. Don't be objective. Oh, sorry. I'm going to be. Right? For me, it's like, of course it may not happen. But the idea that it was an impossibility, honestly, it grinded my gears this summer. You're not reading the articles. You're not thinking clearly. You're being subjective and not objective to being wrong. That doesn't mean you back the move and you think it's going to happen. You're objective to it possibly happening. And look, Liverpool are always going to do this. Liverpool are always going to go and make a move for Isak once this Ekitike news arose, because they had to. Their hand was forced. This here from Graham Bailey says, Isak has always been Liverpool's dream striker target this summer, and it remains that way. And we saw that update from Ornstein last night as well. And we all knew what it meant, especially with Ekitike being very high on the pecking order of alternatives. There was no way Liverpool were going to sit back and go, let's just let that deal go through. They're making a move for one of the two. They're making a move for one of the two. What a window we've had so far. Like, absolutely astronomical. But let's go to some of your comments that have come in during this show. Ola here says, Isak, Rodrigo, Gahey to Liverpool. If Liverpool pull that off, they've got to be doing a treble. They've got to be doing a treble with them kind of signings. I'm telling you, they really have to. Rob here says, Ekitike is not worth 80 million. Again, we can put that aside for a moment and just look at the dynamics of this deal more so than the costs and everything else. But for me, when I'm looking at this, I can't help but think to myself that I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. Liverpool are going to end up walking over a really, really good striker. And this is what happens when you run well. This is what happens when you negotiate properly. You always have money available. You always have the ability to get a deal done. Crazy times. Crazy, crazy times indeed. See, I love this update that you've put in here. You've missed out the last part of Luke Edwards' update, which is, but we shall see. Oh, that's so funny. That is genuinely so funny. Genuinely so funny. Someone here says, Fab and Ornstein news, Terry. Yeah, I'm literally here talking about it. Unless they put something new out since I've been live. No, they haven't. Crazy times. Crazy times. Oh, hang on a second here. Fabrizio has just updated on Ekitike. So let's take a little read and a look at that. So moving it over to this screen here. So Romano has said that Hugo Ekitike case remains open as Newcastle sent an official bid close to 80 million on Monday. Liverpool can enter the race only if Newcastle close the door on Isak. It's like, give me that money or I'll nick your wife. It's like, give me all your money or I'm taking your wife home. That's basically the choice Newcastle got. You know what I mean? It's give me that or I'm taking that. Give me your side chick or I'm having your wife. Honestly, Newcastle fans think I'm happy. I'm not. This laughter is a nervous laughter. This is ridiculous what Liverpool are doing. But it's amazing. And I have to be, I'm sorry, Staffy. I'm being objective. I'm not, let me just, Staffy. So I'm not behind it. I'm not supporting Liverpool. I'm not saying this is amazing and they're a brilliant club and, oh my God, they're great. Let's give them a fanfare. I'm objectively, I'm impartially, I'm removing my emotions. I'm moving my judgment of them as a Man United fan and speaking about it objectively. I just want to let Staffy know I'm doing that in case you get triggered in a few days saying Terry's basically a Liverpool fan. I'm hoping you get that, Staff. See you Friday, brother. This is absolutely phenomenal from Liverpool. It is phenomenal on every single level, and I am jealous to my core. The only difference between me and a lot of younger men in this space is I'm not going to allow my subjectivity to cloud my analysis. I'm going to look at this from all angles. I'm going to present a very balanced view. That's the way I am as a person. Quote unquote, Staffy, I'm going to stand on business. But that's how I do it, by being fair. This is out of this world. They've literally, I don't know what Newcastle are going to decide to do, but basically, Newcastle are not getting both. As it reads right now, Newcastle are not getting both. Oh, look at this here. Terry is more giddy about other clubs' transfers than United. Sus behavior. Because we ain't doing anything. How can I be excited about nothing versus something? And what I am excited about when it comes to other club is I have a channel and I have a job where I'm entrenched in everybody else's clubs. I follow all 6 clubs as for a living. And all these deals mean next season is going to be more exciting. I love what I do, so I'm excited. If you think that's sus behavior, that's up to you. Do you know what you can do? You can go watch another channel where it's less sus and everybody's biased and everybody's subjective and they cry like babies every day. Go watch that. Leave this brilliant community alone. Toodle pip, my friend. Frankfurt sell overpriced strikers, so I'd be wary. Look, I understand that. I'd understand that. But for me, I think Ekitike is excellent, and I think he feeds into what Liverpool have got brilliantly. The one thing about Ekitike to Man United that I've come to the conclusion on, well, not a conclusion, that I'm open-minded to, is that he isn't an out-and-out 9. He's he's a bit of a facilitator, drops deep. With Salah in your team, with Wirtz, who likes to get into the box, he could be perfect. I think for Man United, because a lot of fans want him, with Cunha and Mbeumo, I think we need an out-and-out 9, not someone who facilitates, because who the fuck are we facilitating to when we've got loads of facilitators? But I think for Liverpool, I think Ekitike would be amazing. Him and the profile of Isak aren't too different from each other. So I think with Ekitike, what you will start to see more of in a bigger and better team is more goals. I think he'll be in more places to score goals as well because the system will dictate it. But what he can do is drop deeper, facilitate. He isn't sort of like Darwin Núñez where Klopp had to kind of change the approach and go, Salah, you're not really going to be the main goal scorer. I need you to facilitate for Darwin. I think you'll get a really nice balance in that mix. I really do. I think you'll get a really, really nice balance in that mix. Did you actually say 100% could leave? Yes. I actually said that. 100% said that. Why? Because I've been told there's 0 chance he could leave. So I'm telling you, there's a 100% chance, which means the possibility of him leaving is absolutely true. It may not be correct grammar, but I am not an English fucking teacher. I'm an uneducated Cockney from the East End of London talking, and that's how I talk, right? But yes, the reason I'm saying it is because I've been told 100% it won't happen. It could. The deal is on 100%. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Been saying it all summer. The deal could happen. No way. It won't. It may not, but it could. It's like the response to it could isn't it won't. That lacks what you call critical reasoning. And they say that if you can't do critical reasoning, you have an IQ of under 85. If you can't do critical reasoning, do you think it could happen? It won't. Yes. But do you think it could? But it won't. But do you think it could happen? But it won't. If you lack the ability to do critical reasoning, you've got problems. You've got real problems. That's why I said it, my friend. There we go. Tell him, Terry. Well, of course I'm going to tell him. Yeah. Could and 100% in the same sentence. Absolutely. And I explained why. If I'm wrong, tell me why. I could probably phrase it better. Yeah. 100% could not to. Yes, exactly. As I've said all summer, the possibility of it happening is real. So it could happen. It might not happen. It definitely will, or it definitely won't. They're inaccurate claims at that particular moment. That doesn't make that claim right if it does or doesn't happen. I told you it definitely would. No, you're wrong. When you said it, it definitely wasn't happening. It could. That's where we were in reality. Come on now, use your brains. Engage your brains. Right, I'm going to do a few calls on the show. Terry, Fab said the Ekitike deal depends on Isak. Absolutely, that's what we've been talking about, mate. Go back to the beginning of the show. You'll see it all. Exactly why we're here talking. Let me just do this. Remember, we're live again at 3:30 with the boys for Straight Facts. So this will redirect to that stream. First on the show with me today is Kmack. Kmack, massive news for Liverpool. Many say you're taking the piss. I bet you don't care. Break it down for me, bro.
Big up, by the way, Terry. It's been a while. Hope you're well, mate.
I'm very good, thank you.
I think what we need to understand on this one is this is a second attempt that Newcastle have tried for Ekitike, by the way, because they tried to sign him when he left PSG. So this is a target Newcastle have had for a while as well. And this will be our third attempt at Alexander Isak. And these were all attempts by Edwards when he was director of football and when he was in our scouting committee in the data analysis team. So this is Liverpool going back, correcting the wrongs that they didn't get right the first time round. And if you just look at the signings we've made, Wirtz, we tried to sign him when he was 17. Frimpong, we tried to sign him when he was 17. We're just going back and we're getting the players that we wanted in the first place years ago. Now they've become superstars. They're ready for the big stage. So we're just going to get them back into the club. And one more thing people aren't really looking into is Edwards and Hughes and Eddie Howe all worked under Harry Redknapp at Portsmouth in the data committee when they started their data analysis jobs a long, long time ago. So they go back a long way. So relationships really do matter. And last season, Eddie Howe was asked point blank by Sky at the end of the season, how do you feel about your players next season? And he said, not one of them. I can't confirm any of them are going to be at the club. And you have to look at Newcastle moving. They try for strikers. Try for Mbuemo. Try for João Pedro. Didn't get their guys. Ekitike. Liverpool had given him a free run because he was listed as one of our top 2, top 3 targets all season. We've kept the channels open for Ekitike to go straight to Newcastle. And this merry-go-round, which we've been talking about for weeks now, of Osimhen going to Turkey, Nunes going to Napoli, Ekitike going to Newcastle, and finally Isak landing at Liverpool. This merry-go-round looks like it's going to happen now. I'm all for it. I am all for it. Bring it on.
Yeah, it does feel like to me like there's, I mean, the way I'm viewing this, you know, and it's just my opinion, you've got a decent chance of Isak. I think you've got a fantastic chance of Ekitike. Either way, I think you're signing a very good striker. One more formed and a better level right now than the other. But I still look at it and think, yeah, there's a really, really good chance here, a really, really good opportunity for you guys to get one of these 2 deals done. And Newcastle are the ones that are going to miss out because there was all that talk of they're going to have both. It seems like it's very unlikely they're going to end this summer transfer window with both Ekitike or Isak. But we'll see what happens. Kmack, thanks for calling in, mate. Always appreciate it, brother. And we'll chat again soon. Good seeing you, mate. Thank you. Terry Tibbs is with us now. What are you saying, Tibbs? Are you there, Tez?
You okay? Yeah.
Yes,
you okay?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. What do you make of this news that's just broke?
By the way, you'd make a fantastic English teacher. I'm absolutely made up, to be honest with you. I'm made up, Terry, for 3 reasons. Reason number 1, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are by far the best in the business. Don't care what anyone says. Don't care who your club's got. Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are the best in the business. They've just went to Newcastle and said, listen, boys, give Alexander Isak or we'll just take Ekitike off you. It's simple as that. Your choice. Right? And then I've had Newcastle fans, for the last 3 weeks on Twitter calling me delusional, calling me everything under the sun. Isak's not for sale. He's got 3 years left. We're not selling him. Ta-da, mate. Get you there. He's coming to Liverpool. Lad, if we get Isak in this window, this is a generational window. You're talking about Kirkhead, you're talking about Frimpong, you're talking about Wirtz, you're talking about Isak. Come on, man. Lad, I am over the moon with this news.
Yeah, it's genuinely, I hate to say it as a United fan, but I'm as objective as they come. It's fantastic business. It just really is. It's fantastic business on every single level. And I'm not going to lie, I'm jealous. I'm genuinely jealous because I think you're going to get it done. I think you're going to get it over the line. I think Isak will be a Liverpool player, but I felt it for a while now as well, if that makes sense. This has felt like a deal for a long while that was going to happen. This has felt like a deal. And just because it's the patterns you've got to look for. The patterns you've got to look for. The 3 or 4 months of being linked to him, and at no point a top Liverpool journalist shutting it down, which normally happens when your club knows it's impossible or won't spend the money. The fact that every Newcastle update has been don't want to sell, reluctant to sell, with hate to sell, but never categorically not staying. The third element, the player. I love Newcastle. I love the fans. I love it here. Not once said, I can promise you I'm not leaving no matter what. Rightly or wrongly, this triggers some people. When Bruno said he wasn't leaving, he came straight out and made a statement, this is why I'm staying. We knew it was over and probably over for the rest of the summer. Where with Isak, he's just let the rumours fester. And that's why I've always felt there was a good and strong possibility. I'll quote the word again. I've always felt 100% that there was a possibility that this happens. The people saying it won't happen. That's guesswork. What I believe to be true is that it was on, active, and could get over the line. And the fact that you've put them in this like armbar. You basically said, if you want Ekitike, let us have Isak, or we're going to take Ekitike. It seems win-win for you guys.
Satch's just tweeted as well before in the last couple of minutes, and Satch's just basically turned around and said, in June, the Saudis deemed Isak was untouchable and he wasn't for sale. In the last couple of hours, the mindset has changed because they're making progression on Ekitike.
Well, but this is also it, right? And Sasha, I know some people don't like Sasha Cavalieri, but he's got quite a few things about Liverpool right. There's something he gets things wrong as well. That's it. But I'm not surprised to see this news because I've tried to say this to Newcastle fans all summer. Your club's progression over the next 4 to 5 years to be where you want to be isn't solely reliant on Isak. No club should ever look at itself and go, we're done without one player. If you're really as well run as you think, if the squad build is as good as you think, one player leaving, as good as he is, for the right money should never destabilize you. Because with the money coming in, you replace that person with another good player, and you then should be able to add 2 or 3 more. And I think what they're going to do is get 120 plus bonuses, so maybe 150. They're going to buy Ekitike. I think they're going to improve their goalkeeper. I think they're going to improve at centre-back. And I think Newcastle could go into next season, overall, a better and stronger squad than if you guys take Ekitike, what's their next move? Who are they going for next? You know what I mean? So I actually think they'll be in a much stronger position, personally.
I totally agree with you. I think all banter aside and all stuff aside, like you've just highlighted, let's not forget this is a fantastic deal for Newcastle as well, because it creates a situation for Newcastle where they can now go out and spend a stupid amount of money because it's going to show on the books as pure profit. They paid 60 million for Isak, but that's all already being paid off. So what they get now on their books is going to be pure profit. So that enables them now to go on again and push for players like, hopefully, Mbeumo. They steal them off United. But do you get what I mean? It's like this opens them up now to go and get 3 or 4 quality players to progress them further. Because let's be honest, Newcastle's midfield is absolutely phenomenal. Of Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno. It's one of the best midfields in Europe. If they can build on that with, better players around, not forgetting as well, one of Newcastle's downfalls, especially in the Champions League, has been depth. They need depth badly. If they want to go on a decent run in the Champions League, they need depth. So it gives them this opportunity now. If they do sell Isak to us, which I'm 80% confident that they do, because in my opinion, we don't approach Newcastle without an okay from the player if he doesn't want to come. I think if he's given us the okay, we've then made the approach to the club, which happens in, people say it's tapping up, but it happens in football all the time. You put the feelers out to see if the player would want to come to you, then you make a formal approach to the club. Happens in football all the time. But yeah,
well, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to do it for intermediaries. The only thing you're not allowed to do is what Spurs are accused of, is reveal private and confidential information. But you can, if there's no NDA, an intermediary can do the talking. And I agree. And look, one thing I didn't buy into this whole time is they were going to play with both strikers next year, because that meant dropping one of the midfielders at Newcastle. And dropping one of the midfielders at Newcastle, look, people go on about dominating midfields. Typically speaking, in the Prem, other than the really crap teams, a midfield 3 with good competency on the ball will dominate a midfield that's a midfield 2, even if there's Xavi and Iniesta, because there's one extra player and you can just play triangles around them. So I don't know if Newcastle, in the Premier League era we're in, are ever going to sacrifice the 3-man midfield for a 2-man midfield in the Premier League, because I think that could be disastrous at every level.
And I absolutely agree with you. And this thing about the contract situation with Isak, contracts don't mean nothing in football. If the player wants to leave, the club will sell him. It doesn't matter whether he's on a 5-year contract or whether he's on an 8-year contract at Chelsea. If the player wants to leave, the club will not keep a player that does not want to be there. He will go.
100% right, mate. 100%. Listen, Mr. Tibbs, I appreciate you coming on, mate, as always. I really do appreciate your support of the channel.
Joe.
And we'll chat again soon, bro. Thank you. Cheers, Dale. We're going to take some more calls in just a moment. We've got a few more people backstage that we're going to speak to. This here says, it's just 100% a funny sentence. Just puts it in my pipe and smoke it. So I laugh a bit more. Love the show, Terry. Keep it up. Top man. Thank you. I remember a certain Arsenal fan ridiculing you for saying Liverpool could make this signing. Oh, I don't know who you're personally referring to. I've had a lot of ridicule for saying this deal could happen, and I stand on it, you know. But equally, I don't need on a rule out. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I don't need the validation either. The vindication is always a little bit nice, but I don't need the validation because I was open to the idea of being wrong. And what I do think happens in the YouTube space now is you get a lot of people that like to make very polarized, stand on business statements without explaining what they may or may not feel if things change. And it's just, I'm just going to say it won't happen rather than what the real truth of the matter is that it could. You get a lot of that. So yeah, I'm not surprised I got called out for it. I didn't know I got called out for it, but yeah, it is what it is. It still hasn't happened, but all I've ever said is it could. A rival shouldn't just be scared of Liverpool trying to get Isak. They should be scared of the bigger picture. Liverpool, for the first time in the Prem era, are acting like a giant, showing the appetite to dominate. But Liverpool have always spent. Liverpool in the Prem era, in Fergie's time here, outspent Man United. Let's be absolutely fundamentally clear about that. Liverpool have always been big to very big spenders. They haven't ever touched what City and Chelsea have done. But no one in the Prem era has. They've outspent everybody. And when you factor in that City spent quite a lot of years out of the Prem, it's an even bigger number. But Liverpool are amazing at it. And you've also got to look at another facet for Liverpool, which I think is amazing, is what they're doing with Diaz. They keep again, Terry, we're not going to sell him. How do you know? We said he's not for sale. You keep saying he's not for sale whilst telling everybody what his valuation and sale price is. That's what you do when you're happy to sell, but at the right price. So I also think Liverpool could raise money I wouldn't be surprised to see money raised through the sale of, you got to look at it this way. Darwin Núñez is going to raise you 50, 60 million. Okay. You've paid off the majority of that transfer already. So you're going to make 30 or 40 million profit. I don't think you owe any money on Diaz anymore. With what I read, if you get 80 or 90 for him, let's say 80, suddenly you've made 120 million profit. That's Isak sorted. You've still got the money to then go and look at someone like a Rodrigo. And I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool Football Club went and done that. What are the chances Chelsea get Rodrigo now, Terry, with everyone blowing their transfer budget? Still quite low, in my opinion. Now, again, sorry, Staffy, I'm going to be objective for a moment and have a different opinion in an objective way. Of course, there's always a chance. However, the reason why I don't see it happening personally is because he would demand a salary of around 300,000+ a week. I'm not sure if Chelsea are ready yet to break the bank, because if they were willing to do it, there's other strikers they may have approached. So I still don't know if Chelsea would do that. In terms of Chelsea having the pull to get the player, Chelsea having the ability to get the player, Chelsea having the prowess and the stature in the game and the status to be attractive to Rodrigo, 110%. I just want to let one of you see what I just did there. That was an objective breakdown. I don't think it would happen, but I think it's attractive. And I also presented an argument to how it could happen. It's called a balanced review. Rather than just not going to happen, move on, bullshit, crap, won't happen, see you later. I just think that's a bad football opinion. Just putting that out there. Staffy, if you're watching. So me and Staffy are having a bit of a friendly banter in the group chat. So yeah, I don't personally think that will happen. Let's do some more calls here. Kane is backstage ready to talk to us. How you doing, Kane? Who do you support?
I support Newcastle, bud.
Oh yes, we spoke before.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
What do you make of this situation? Because it does feel like they've got you by the short and curlies here, mate.
I have to disagree. I think it's the opposite.
Okay.
And this is how I see it. I mean, we've just had the bid rejected from Frankfurt for Ekitike, which is fine. They seem to want to put a bidding war, get a bidding war going, which is their right to do. And I don't think Newcastle will sell unless there is a replacement for Isak this year. So if we don't get Ekitike, I can see us turning around and saying no. I mean, Liverpool are doing what they should have done, by the way, which is approaching for Isak. What I will say is, if the reports are true in saying that 120 million is the offer, I don't think that's going to do it. It'll be quite a substantial bit more than that. I still think it will be substantially more than that, because I disagree that he's going to kick up a stink. I think would he want the move? Yeah, probably. I would say he was, but he's not doing what Gyökeres is doing. He's at the training ground. He's over in Austria with the lads training. So I don't see any potential outburst already from that side of things. And I think Liverpool are trying to Newcastle forced Liverpool's hand by opening the talks with Ekitike, which, as you correctly said, is one of Liverpool's top 2 targets, and forced Liverpool's hand. So now Liverpool have acted in kind and said, okay, well, if you want Ekitike, then we're coming for Isak. But and that might work. That by all means, there is a realistic chance in which Newcastle end up with Ekitike, which would be a great deal, and Liverpool end up with Isak, which will be great for them as well. But I also see as much chance of that happening as a world in which Newcastle acquire Ekitike first, because we're probably going to turn around to Liverpool and say we're not going to let him go until we get Ekitike. And we could even turn around and go, okay, we've got Ekitike, and no, we're not going to sell Isak because he has 3 years on his deal. Now you say the two can't play in the same team. That's for Eddie Howe to figure out if that is the case. That still doesn't mean that Newcastle as a business aren't going to sell their asset, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Isak is not a pivotal figure in Newcastle's quest to win the title. And Newcastle are only a few years away from winning the title. But I imagine selling your top striker to a rival in a title race, whether we're in a title race or not, rival is not a really debate, really. But
I get that.
But you know what I mean. It puts the brakes on that.
So where I can see your point is, if you are able to get Ekitike over the line before Liverpool, and Liverpool can't stop it, then you are in a powerful position, because they don't have their current leverage is, well, if we don't get Isak, we'll get Ekitike. And I suppose it depends on what Ekitike does here, because if Ekitike sends out a signal which is, well, I'm not going to sign a contract with Newcastle because Liverpool are looking at me, I think that's where it becomes a little bit precarious. But you're right. If Ekitike picked up the phone today and says, listen, Liverpool, thanks, but no thanks, I want to be a Newcastle player, this is all pie in the sky. You are right.
Yeah. But again, to what your point now is, oh, well, Liverpool just go for Ekitike. Oh, no, we end up with Isak. Like, come on, guys.
Oh yeah, you're not in a bad situation. You're not. Yeah.
This is my point. This is why Newcastle, I feel, you say Liverpool have us by the shirt and curlies. I think it's the opposite. I think at the end of the day, we either end up with Ekitike and Isak. We end up they go for Ekitike, then we keep Isak, which is,
Where I'm comparing it to, though, about the short and curlies it's the narrative of what I was seeing yesterday, which is we're going to have 2 top class strikers. This unless Ekitike says no to Liverpool, you're only going to end up with 1, which still means Liverpool are going to stop you from improving your squad in that way, if that makes sense. That feels to me relatively likely. But I still think, listen, I said it all along, I don't think you guys allowing Isak to go for big money derails your not even rebuild, but derails this project of getting to the top. It was always set as about a 10-year project to get there. I actually think you could do with the money, personally, and I think you can improve your squad further. And it's why I don't think Newcastle fans should be, if you end up with Ekitike, but also getting 150 million for Isak, and you go out and buy a top-class goalkeeper, a really good central defender, I don't sort of look at that as being I personally don't look at that and go, oh, that's a horrendous window because you lost Isak, if that makes sense. Because in 4 or 5 years, you're going to lose him anyway, right? Because players get old. So I don't think it's not ideal, because he's such a good striker. But I've always felt that your owners are not bad owners, and they understand sometimes. They look at a situation and say, look, it's a very small step backwards to potentially move forward quicker. So I don't think it's the end of the world, personally.
Me neither. I mean, like I said, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it wouldn't be great. It wouldn't feel good. But that is what it is. I think Isak stays probably 1 more year, so us going for Ekitike makes sense. And like I said, and again, the realistic chance of us having both Isak and Ekitike, if only for 1 year, and because we are going to need to rotate. Are we there going to play? Because I think what fans fail to realize is that there are a lot of games. We're in 4 competitions, like top level competitions next year, and so the idea of going in there that we're just going to play the same 11 every week is ridiculous. So it's only natural that we would get as much as we like. The dream is to get your bench as strong as your first 11. So with Newcastle going out and getting Ekitike to strengthen, not necessarily just strengthen the bench, but just be a full-on rotation option. Because again, one thing that is slandered at Isak is his injury record. So again, people are saying, well, Isak gets injured a lot. Newcastle are having to get a top-level backup / rotation option, and all of a sudden that's weird, and that shouldn't be allowed. That's not going to work. I think it's a bit of a fallacy. And again, I think money-wise, I don't think we need the money. PSR is not an issue for us. We've been told by Eddie Howe himself, who has always been super conservative when it comes to transfers. He said, we will go big this year, and we will do what we need to do. And I pick up what was it Kmack who said that Eddie Howe said that he couldn't make guarantees on any player leaving. Well, that's just called being a manager in 2025. Like, just because he said, I mean, because he's not going to say, oh, this person is definitely not going to go, and then them get sold, and then he looks like an idiot. So he's never going to say that and commit 100% to those things. Now, I think what's lacking is a lot of the we hear a lot of, well, these are the reasons he should leave to go to Liverpool. I don't think there's enough said about why he shouldn't go to Liverpool this year, because I think the Liverpool squad, if you look at the contract situation, obviously they've got Kanate, who's out of contract this year, Diaz, who wants to leave. You've then got Nunes, who is trying to leave. Well, not necessarily trying to leave, but they're trying to get rid of Nunes. And then you look at 2027, I think half of their team are out in the last year of the contract. So I think, Liverpool's project is not looking as strong as people think. Now, they could obviously spend money and fix that, but
I hear you. Listen, Kane, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. I appreciate it a lot, brother. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Bradon is with us. Bradon, obviously, is a gooner. What are you saying, Bradon?
We're all in trouble, Tal. If this deal happens, we're all in trouble. Big, big trouble. And I can see it happening as well. Do you know why I can see it happening?
Go on.
Liverpool are in a strong position. I know what my man's saying about Newcastle, being in a strong position, but the reason why Liverpool are in a strong position is because, kind of like if they say, right, cool, you're not going to give us Isak, cool, we'll go for Ekitike, and vice versa. But I also think that the thing that really strengthens Liverpool's position as well is Isak would be interested, no doubt, in going to Liverpool. They're the current Premier League champions. They've proven over the last sort of 5 to 10 years they can win trophies consistently. They've got big players there. And I think also Newcastle could do with the money. We were talking about their project. This money for Isak could significantly speed up their project. And for the sake of losing one player, I think their owners will probably look at that and think, well, we could keep him for another year. But if we keep him for another year, that's another year less on his contract. So therefore, next summer when we come to sell him, he probably won't get as much money for him. If he has an injury hit season this season, like what my man was talking about, where Isak does tend to spend a lot of time out injured, that could also affect his market value. I think the Newcastle owners, if they're sensible, will be looking at this going, cool, 150 million coming in. We're bringing in another striker who's, one of the top targets out there in the world in Ekitike. And we could use that money to fund some more players to come in to build a better squad. And I think that's what Newcastle need.
Yeah, I agree. I'll ask you a question. What can genuinely, if Isak goes in, you saying we're all in trouble, and I get it from an Arsenal perspective, that means title race wise. Is there anything Arsenal could do in the transfer market to remedy this? Or do you just think nothing can look, you're gonna get as it looks like you're gonna get Eze. It looks like you're definitely gonna get Gyökeres. What else could you add to genuinely catch them where you wouldn't feel as threatened by this?
I genuinely don't know if there is anything else that we could do in the transfer market to remedy this. I think even if we brought in Rodrigo, he's an X Factor type player. But I just look at that Liverpool front three. You got Mo Salah, who bags goals for fun. Isak's arguably the best striker, all rounded, in world football right now. And you look at what Liverpool have got behind him as well, bringing in Florian Wirtz. You know, the defence is pretty strong as well. I don't know. I mean, if they bring in Isak, it's going to be a tough ask for anybody in this league to compete with that, I think. You know, even the Man Cities of this world will struggle with that, because I just see, like I say, he fits Liverpool quite well as well. You know when Liverpool had like the Mane, the Salah and the Firmino, well, Isak can do that as well. Isak holds up the ball very well, but he's just an exceptional finisher. I think he's an exceptional all-round striker who will complete that Liverpool front line, which is already dangerous as it is. I look at Arsenal. I think we'll probably get one more. I think we will get Eze. I don't think we'll get Rodrigo, because I don't think we're going to have the funds there to go and do that. And if we do, you know, I think that will make it much closer. But I think this could be a game-changing signing. If Liverpool can get Isak over the line, I think we can pretty much sit there and say that, you know, they're favourites to win the league. And if they don't win the league, I think most people would be surprised.
Yeah, I hear you on that completely, mate. I think it's well. I asked the question because I don't see what. I mean, look, you're going to bring in a top striker as well. I don't see what, you know, you got Rodrigo that you can add. I mean, there's talk that they might go in for him though. And they could also, I mean, they add him as well. I mean, it's just fucking.
It's a long day if they add him as well.
Yeah. It's just sort of finished. But I do agree with you. I think it makes Liverpool, if this deal goes through, they're just the outright favourites to win it. And
you know the other thing as well, when we talk about Arsenal, if you look at how many players we've brought in, I know a lot of these are going to be squad players, but we're having to try and gel quite a few players into this Arsenal team. Liverpool have brought in Wirtz so far. They've brought in Frimpong, which is an ideal replacement for Trent. Plays a similar way, very, very good going forward, maybe a little bit questionably defensively. They've brought in Kirkes, who, in my opinion, again, is a very similar player to an Andy Robertson. Much better, but very similar. So they've not really changed too much. Whereas as we're looking at Arsenal, we're going to be bringing Gyökeres. That's a totally different profile of player to what we're used to our manager using. And I think in order to get the best out of Gyökeres, for example, Arteta's going to have to change the way that Arsenal play. Now, whether that works and whether that doesn't work very much depends on the players that we bring in and how well they settle into this team as well. You know, you're talking about a key piece in most of these top teams is the number 6. You know, Rodri's a key piece in Man City's. You know, Gravenberch last season was a key piece in the Liverpool midfield. Zubimendi has to come into this Arsenal team and hit the ground running, because he's going to be very key to how we play, especially with the way he goes forward with the ball and spreads it out wide. So I think having that different profile of player up front as well, and having to change the way that we play slightly, I think that also has to factor in. Whereas Liverpool, having Isak, having Wirtz, you know, they're just adding better quality to their squad. They haven't necessarily got to change the way that they play. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I totally get where you're coming from with that. I do, and I think that it's one of those interesting ones. I'm still at a point where I want to see a few teams in pre-season. I want to see what people look like, because you know that summer where you brought in Jesus and Zinchenko, you just all click straight away. And again, if recruitment's really good and you are buying the right profiles for how you play, I'm not saying some players don't need time to adapt, but there should be an element of players looking good straight away. You look at Cunha at United. Most United fans have said he's exactly what we need in that left-hand side 10 position. I expect a pretty good display from the beginning, if that makes sense. Bradon, though, appreciate talking to you, mate, and everyone else who's tuned in. I'm sorry we can't take any more calls on the show. We're live again at 4 p.m, right back here on the Football Terrace for Straight Facts with Aaron and LB. We're going to be covering this more on that show. So we'll see you all in about 30 minutes' time. This is going to redirect you to it. So go across there now, get it liked, get it ready. We'll be live again very, very soon. I'm making sure I've done that, actually. I say that out loud, and then I check it, and it might not be done. That is done. So that's going to redirect you over there now, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.